This is verse 1 of the 5th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. We've had the preliminary discussion provided by the evangelist concerning the beginning of the ministry of Jesus. We've heard of his baptism, his temptation, gathering his first disciples, beginning to preach, and now John comes to this section, 3 chapters long, really a combination of probably teaching that Jesus provided on multiple occasions, on many occasions, but Matthew brings it here for us in one consolidated expression, commonly called the Sermon on the Mount. And it may very well be that Jesus gave the essence of this message in one setting, but we're given to understand that he had similar themes that would work their way into his preaching on many occasions. So anyway, we come along to verse 1, chapter 5. We have Idon. This is either from blepo or ado, same idea. IC, this is the aorist active participle, indicating action preceding the time of the leading verb. Masculine singular nominative pointing to Jesus in the nominative here, so it's going to be having seen would be the idea. De, the postpositive, tous, the accusative, plural. Masculine article, the oklus, the crowds. So there is, of course, by the previous discussion from Matthew, a great number of people from many different areas that have all been accumulating there in Galilee and following Jesus. And so now Matthew indicates having seen the crowds. Anebe, this is the first person or third person singular, aorist active indicative. From anabino, I go up. This is he went up. So having seen the crowds, he went up. Ace preposition takes the accusative to oros, into the mountain. Not sure exactly what mountain it was, but assuming this all takes place in the vicinity of Capernaum, there is a very tempting venue there that would probably be the place identified sometime around the 10th or 11th centuries, and it likely is the place where this occurred. So having seen the crowd, he went up into the mountain. Kai, the connective. Kathisantos, from kathidzo. Kathidzo means I sit down. This is the aorist active participle, again, denoting time preceding the time of the leading verb, but you'll notice here it's in the genitive. This is the masculine singular genitive, going along without to, also in the genitive, so it's the masculine singular genitive pronoun, and that together forms what's called a genitive absolute. So it's a phrase that more or less stands alone in the larger clause. So having sat down would be the idea, the aorist participle. And then again, the next principal verb is proselphon. This is from proserchomai, to come to. It can either have an omicron or an alpha here. It's really essentially the same meaning either way, but it's the third person plural, aorist active indicative. So they came to, takes the dative, so we have the dative pronoun here in the masculine singular. They came to him. The subject of this verb is hoi mathetai, the disciples out to of him. We're tempted, of course, to think the disciples would be simply the 12 disciples, although at this juncture he's only called 4 of them, and we're probably misguided in that idea anyway, because the disciples would simply be the followers, the learners. It could be a much larger group. And that seems to be the sense that Matthew wants us to derive here. So Jesus has gone into an elevated location where it'll be convenient to teach. He sat down, the common posture of someone in the rabbinic office, and he begins to address these who are his followers with this remarkable and extended sermon, as we call it, the Sermon on the Mount.